Welcome back to another episode. Keep it orange and blue. I'm Ryan Schroet, joined as always by Kevin Ducey. What's happening, man?
You know, Ryan, is like Christmas. It just keeps on coming. It's weird. I was thinking about it before we joined in the show tonight. Football season's over. What a magical season. 10 wins, only the fifth time, right, in school history.
That's right.
Yeah, there's like one in the early 1900s and then 83, 89, 01 this year. So, yeah. And then obviously we go on the road this past week, beat Oregon by 32 points, top 10 ranked Oregon team, the best second half offense I think I've ever seen, the best half of offense I think I've ever seen in Illinois. It was unbelievable. And we go sweep the Pacific trip. Casper Jacksionis, Big Ten Freshman of the Week again with a phenomenal week. Team that's on the rise to go to the top 10. But I want to talk football. It's crazy. I want to talk football because you talk about the most important Illinois, fans were looking at the transfer portal and what's Illinois going to do. And it was kind of a couple of years ago, I said, what's Brad's biggest get in recruiting? I was like, you get Kofi and Io to come back and you get, right? And this is, you get J.C. Davis, Xavier Scott, Gabe Atkins, and Luke Altmaier, right? These are four most important players that still had eligibility left to come back. And they're all coming back on a team that won 10 wins. We're returning 16 starters, 17 if you include Alano. It's just an incredible get by the staff, and I'm really, really high on what next year can bring. And I don't know where you wanted to go with this, Ryan. You want to talk basketball first?
Yeah. So I want to start hoops because, man, to me it's just there's no wrong way to go. But we've been talking so heavy football for the last, 4 months.
We can finish with football for sure.
And we'll finish with football. We'll finish with football today because I know a lot of fans are watching and excited about hoops, but they're excited. The football is important, but it's for next season, but it's still relevant. But with hoops right now, I feel like what you mentioned with Oregon is just too good to not talk about right now. But we're going to finish with all the gets of everybody, the wish list, right? Yeah. Everybody that Illinois could have lost to the pros decided to come back, and you already knew you had Altmaier, and then look who they're grabbing in the transfer portal. We're going to talk, Clement from West Virginia. That dude's a playmaker, man. That's exciting. So we'll talk about that, but let's and we'll do some Q&A. But let's start with Illinois here. Illini hoops rolling into the top 15, as you mentioned. Beat Oregon, so basically made history in Eugene. Okay, no top 10 ranked team in the AP poll had ever got beat by 32 points ever by an opposing team. So at home, right. So that's history right there, Kevin. So how long has the AP poll been out?
Yeah, forever since I can remember.
Yeah, so that's how special Illinois was against Oregon, and as we'll talk about that game, but some people were kind of disappointed with how close the Washington game was. But here's what I'm going to say. That shows the mental fortitude to me of a team to say, we're going to kick the crap out of this team. We know through 2 days later, you pretty much had to prep for a road team who, by the way, beat Maryland, 2 days previous, who's a pretty good team. And say, hey, they're feeling good about themselves. We're on this high. We can't have a letdown, And they didn't. It doesn't matter how pretty it was. Road conference victories are like gold, right, Kevin?
Absolutely. I don't care where you're playing. And this is, I would say there's one road game this season where you're like, that's a game is a must-win road win, if you will, and that's Minnesota. Yeah. And they still gave Ohio State everything they wanted. So,
yeah, it's that game, but they can't make free throws.
Right. It's a tough building. I mean, Don McClain talked about it on a broadcast that the place can get loud. He knows he played there. He played at UCLA, so he got games at Washington. It's a talented team. It's a top 100 team. But I think what Illinois did that was really, really exciting for that game is they got out 27-10. And you remove the opportunity. Yeah, I think there were some things that they missed in the second half, and the offense bogged down at times. And obviously Davis catching a heater affected the game a lot. And that's a guy you just don't expect to come out career high 32 points and, man, making threes from everywhere. And kudos to that kid. He played a heck of a game. But the guy you were really worried about beating you was Great Osborne. And they shut him down, man. And you look at what their top 3 scorers did. They didn't do a whole lot there. So, yeah, you're in a classic trap. And they handled business. And Illinois starting to find some things late. We handled business late in the Missouri game. We handled business late in this game. Obviously, we had the late meltdowns a little bit against Tennessee and Northwestern. So now you're starting to see a team starting to find itself a little bit, other than the inbounds pass that went awry. And there's some reasoning behind that I've read up on. And we can talk about that a little bit if we want. But really what this team is now from a basketball standpoint is you have a clear-cut star, and it's Casper Yackionis. And then you have guys that can all come in and get you 10, 15, 20 points a night, from Trey White to Avicic to Kylan Boswell to, Will Riley's not playing well right now.
No.
Getting instant offense from DGL. DGL is, dude, I love how he's attacking the rim.
He's deserving more minutes than Will Riley is right now,
And he's getting them, and it's fair. So,
and I'll let you answer, Kev. This isn't any crow. I can tell you this.
No, it's not.
Kev is clearly on X. He told everybody how much he's changed his opinion on Trey White. So,
well, the problem with Trey early in the season is he looked like a guy, like when he got the ball, was constantly searching for a shot, and it felt a little bit like a black hole. And honestly, it felt like a guy who played on a bad Louisville team last year with a lot of me-first guys. He's like the antithesis of that now, and he's cutting, he's driving, he's making plays defensively, he's getting on the floor for the ball. He made a game-saving play with the strip and the diving on the floor. He dove on the floor, just a few plays before that. I love what he's bringing. I was actually really high on Trey White in some message boards coming into the season. I said, hey, I think people aren't giving him the credit that he's deserving, because I think this guy's really good. And maybe my expectations for him out of the gate were a little bit too high, but I love what the kid's bringing. And
when you look at his numbers week after week, behind KJ, Trey White.
He's probably second. Him or Boswell are second best players right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Trey White has been leading them in scoring the last couple games here. It's just quiet too, right, Kev? It's just like, you look at his numbers and you're like, he's got what, 20? You're like, really?
Well, he's such a great benefit to this team, because he is a true slasher off the ball, and there's not a lot of guys that are really cutting hard off the ball, and he finishes so well around the rim that it really is.
He shoots 90% from the free throw line, so that doesn't hurt.
Had a couple hiccups lately, but as he started the season like 23 or 24. So yeah, I'm confident with him at the line.
He's got a good mid-range shot too.
Yeah, I'd like to see him knock down some threes, but hey, who would you not like to see knock down some more threes? But no, I'm really love what Trey White's bringing.
So really quickly, Dad Life, Dion, Aaron, we're going to talk football towards the end of the show. Alec Bryant and Tanner Arkin are coming back, from everything I've been told. The only way Tanner Arkin wouldn't come back is if, like, I heard Robbie Disher, the tight end coach, if he took a job someplace else, possibly. But other than that, he's coming back. I think Alec Bryant already posted he was coming back. And yes, I think college game day could come to Champaign for the Ohio State game.
I think at USC possibly. So
yeah, so we'll get to that towards the end of the show. So he's changing he's changed his tune a little bit on Trey White. He's always been a fan. It'd be more of me early when I was like, he just felt real undecided about what he wanted to do. But let's just keep it real here. So Kasparis Yackionis is just a special talent, and he's got that clutch gene already, Kevin. Like, It does, at the end of the game, he may make a mistake here or there. He'll turn it over. But, man, if you want the ball in somebody's hands who's going to go get you a bucket in the last minute, I feel pretty good about him doing it. And
he even did it mid-game against Washington, maybe mid-late. The Davis kid hit a couple threes, and Yackionis came down and just busted a couple right back on him. Like, hey, like, dude,
yeah. And let me tell you, he's not just being guarded by the Diallo kid from Washington is a big, physical, athletic guard.
Oh, was he a 4 or 5 star? Was he McDonald's all?
Yes. So what KJ did was outsmart him with the pump fake step through.
Yeah.
Little pump fake step through floater, I was like, that's just a pro move. And I think Don McClain, right? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
He said so. He goes, "That's just a pro." He goes, "It just is." Like if he can't get by you because you're bigger or stronger than him or faster, he's just gonna outsmart you.
Hey, by the way, when Dre hit Jace Butler with the "you're too small," was that personal?
I don't know. It might have been. And you know what's crazy? When I mentioned that on X, people forgot all about Jace Butler.
Yeah, as you would when you pick up Kylan Boswell and
Casper. When you get Kylan Boswell, KJ, Will Riley, right? And people were wondering, like, why did Jace Butler decommit? I want to let you guys know a couple things. I mentioned it like 6 months ago. He was a Chester Frazier kid, but also they pretty much told him, like, you're not going to see the floor. So,
right.
And, people were like, well, why would they do that to him? Well, now you know. He's barely getting – I think he averages like 5 minutes a game for Washington. So
yeah, I mean, I love the kid. We had him on his show. I've talked to his mom online. Like, great family, great kid. Want the best for him. And like you said, I don't know. He might have decommitted. He might have been told, hey, like, it's probably not in your best interest to still come, or like they told Yaxis, like, you're not going to play, and he didn't want to take that, so he stayed closer to home. So good for him. But I think that still a guy like Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who wants any kind of edge, who's all about getting that smoke, told him a little bit about it after he took him to the rack.
And, DGL needs his little moment here on the show because he's had such a great attitude, with like, hey, he waited his time last year for, like, think about it, one of the all-time top 3 or 4 teams in Illinois history. He still had his moments last year as a freshman.
Oh, the tournament, man, big in the tournament game, yeah.
Yeah, but my point is that you wait all that, and you're thinking, my sophomore year, baby, it's my time, right? And Illinois is like, it is, but hey, we got like this kind of veteran guard who's played in big games. We're gonna bring him in, and then we got like this like unicorn from Lithuania, and then we're gonna bring this 6'9" Canadian who's like, he's pretty much special too. And, you're going to get a play, but probably not as much as you wanted. And it's like, he could have sat there and just pouted and been like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to sit out, or, I'm going to sit out in red shirt or whatever. He could have done what Ty did, because technically they still get their NIL money. But he was like, you know what? I'm going to show these guys that I can play with these guys. I can perform with them, and I deserve to play. And he's doing that right now.
Well, he's getting downhill, which is with his athleticism and his ability there, and also with the spacing that Illinois is going to have, right? When he's on the floor with KJ, and probably even Kylan, he's probably not getting the best perimeter defender. And so with Illinois' ability, especially when Avicic is in the game, there will be driving lanes. It's much more similar to the NBA game when you have 5 guys on the floor who can all make a jump shot. That's going to be there for Dre. That's going to continually be there for Dre. And I look for Brad to try to exploit that a little bit, get him some mismatch problems because he is lightning quick. I know he missed a free throw late. I do kind of trust him at the line. I think he's a really good shooter.
Yeah, Kylan to me has been an enigma, man. Like, I love his defense. I think he comes up with these clutch shots most of the time. But, man, he misses some of these layups. It drives me nuts, man.
It does, but you have to understand he's a smaller guard. He doesn't elevate exceptionally well. It makes it more difficult. The biggest thing is I guarantee that the entire coaching staff is talking to Kylan Boswell and saying, you keep going downhill, right? We want him taking 6, 7, 8 free throws a game. We want that. Absolutely want that. And I'm for it. And he will make some, and he made some late. His first half, in the game in the first half against Oregon, the first half against Washington, he couldn't make a layup. So it was a little frustrating there.
I think Michigan is right behind Illinois. I think it's Illinois, Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue. That's what I feel like. Michigan, you can say whatever you want. Michigan got Arkansas on a neutral court. Arkansas beat them. Illinois slapped them around. It was like a couple weeks after Illinois beat them.
Yeah.
To me, that's how I'm gauging them. And similar records. Yes, they went on the road and beat USC, who I don't feel like is a very good team, but dominating tonight in Westwood is a big one. But UCLA is in a little bit of an enigma themselves, I think.
I'm not buying them. I'm not. I know they guard well, but they're not tonight. Vlad Golden is absolutely cooking them. He's got 20 points almost.
And Lucas, Illinois does not have any must wins anytime soon. So
I'm going to disagree with that.
I don't think. Okay, beating Penn State, you want to win all your home games. But I'm saying if Illinois were to slip up on one of these home games, there's not going to be like oh my God, they lost. They're not going to go anywhere in the tournament. There's no way they can make up ground on the road. That's not true.
No, it's my point is we haven't beaten Penn State in forever. And
I would love that. Yeah, okay. I would love that.
I don't want to lose at home again. Like we lost. I don't want no more home losses. I hate losing.
Okay. Sleeve Nash. How is Illinois going to stop Danny Wolf? Okay. You could say the same thing. Illinois has a Vicic who can guard him. They got Merez Johnson who can guard him. They've also got Illinois. The best question would be is Michigan. Who are they going to have to stop KJ? Okay. Who are they going to have stop Trey White? I know this. Kylan Boswell's going to D up whoever the hell they put the ball in his hands.
They're doing this tonight without Roddy Gale, too, which is interesting.
Yeah. My point is you are what your record is right now. And Illinois, and you look at who you beat and who you lost to, I like Illinois over Michigan at the moment. They only play once this year in Ann Arbor. In the second to last game of the year, too.
Right before we play Purdue, right? Yeah.
Yep. So
Sunday CBS game.
That could be one for the Big Ten. It could be a Big Ten title week. Illinois' last two games are games where you're like, these could be for the Big Ten title here. So, real quick, yes.
You guys think I'm crazy. I think that Danny Wolf doesn't do a ton of like back down stuff. He does a lot of ball handling and passing. Ben Humrickhouse can guard him. So
Merez has had some of the worst luck I feel like with fouls, like of any freshman I've seen. Like there's times where I think maybe it is a foul, but at the end of the day, when you want these guys to go straight up and like be right vertical, whatever, and they just are calling the whistle on him because he's a freshman. And I'm thinking, what more do you want from this guy? But when he's in there and he's not getting whistles blown on him, I feel like he's doing exactly what we want from him, what you need from him. He's being physical. He's had several posters this year. He's going to rebound. I think his rebounds per 40 minutes are pretty crazy.
My favorite Merez moment was that dunk he had against Chicago State. I know it was against Chicago State, just in traffic, just went up and just joked on everybody. Is pretty nice. Hey, I do want to address SDR. Appreciate my guy, St. Dominic's Rosary, about the Jeremiah Fears situation. Let's just I want to revisit this for the last time. He was coming next year. That was the done deal. So Illinois says, all right, we got to go get some. We got to go get another guard or two. We go get Yakshionis. Boswell's already committed. We'll look at Will Riley. And then Jeremiah blows up at an AAU tournament and says, I'm going to reclass. And it was a little bit too late. And he says, can you guarantee me 25 minutes a game? Illinois couldn't do that. It wasn't nobody's fault here. Jeremiah's dad was dead set on him staying in school, was sharing that with Ryan Ferran, Kedrick Prince, our friends. I'm sure that was being shared with the staff. It was really unexpected that he was going to reclass, and he's playing really well. He's probably playing himself into an NBA draft pick. If he doesn't, Oklahoma's got a really tough schedule. They beat up on some cupcakes. Yes, they beat Michigan, but I'm not a huge believer in that overall team. If they don't make the tournament and he is not getting first-round grades, I still think there's a chance he could be in Illini next year. So
yeah, and here's the thing. There was no loser in the Jeremiah Fears KJ situation. Like, if you're irritated because Illinois didn't land Jeremiah Fears, or you say, hey, they could have played together, man. Dude, Kylan Boswell was a guy Illinois focused on before anybody else. You're not going to bring Kylan Boswell in to say, hey, bro, you're going to sit on the bench. We got two freshmen that are going to play over you.
And Kylan Boswell does so many things better than what so many really good things that when he doesn't score, we don't give him the credit for it. Obviously, we know it's defense. He doesn't turn the ball over that much. So it's
Ivicic, yeah, and I've noticed a couple things. Ivicic's game, he's basically giving you 11-9, 10-10, things like that right now. He's still averaging 14-9, but yeah, he's missing some bunnies right now. I feel like maybe he's maybe either getting fatigued or something. I don't know, but there's some shots in there he needs to start making. But he had a 3 at the end of the game that went all the way around the world and came.
And Boswell got a great rebound, just couldn't stay in bounds.
Yeah, so he still is a stretch 5, but also can finish around the rim, and he's doing anything on the glass you would want him to do, and he's being a very good, I'd say a lot better rim protector than people thought. And yes, I'm more in agreement with you about Penn State. I just, we're wanting to beat them, but and Sleeve Nash, I agree that I think Jeremiah Fears will be drafted no matter how.
Oh, he'll get drafted no matter what, but whether or not he's going to get a guarantee.
Yeah, he's not going to be a lottery. He won't be a lottery pick if they're like.
If he gets guaranteed first round, he's gone. He should go. But if he's not getting a guaranteed first round deal, I mean, and here's the thing, dude. Terrence Shannon got drafted at the end of the first round.
Yeah,
I bet you'd rather be at Illinois making NIL if that was possible. Like, I think Penn State's going to cause some issues and some problems there. Kern and who's the other big? They have big wings that can score.
Yeah, they've got so Kern. I really like his game, even though he doesn't really shoot it from 3. He seems to always eat us up, man.
He does.
But of course, Ace Bailey is tough on ball defender. Him and Kylan together, dude. Ace Baldwin. Yeah, Ace Bailey.
Thank God he's not on Penn State.
Yeah, from Rutgers. Sorry. Ace Baldwin. Him and Kylan, I think, are the 2 best on ball defenders in the country. Happen to be Hicks. Hicks are the 2 best on ball defenders in the country, and they both happen to play in the Big Ten. They've got some size that can stretch it. They got Puff Johnson, who transferred from North Carolina. And then they've got a new big. His last name is like really, it's like
Niederhauser.
Dutch, yes.
Yeah, Swedish.
Niederhauser.
Swiss.
Yeah.
Swiss. Sorry, not Swedish.
They had a hiccup against Indiana. Indiana just couldn't miss that game, which has been really crazy from deep. They haven't really been a good 3-point shooting team. McKenzie and Baca went off on them, and Omar Ballo had a big game. So to me, it's all about how Illinois handles the pressure, because obviously they're going to press, and this is a good team. Illinois has got a good team to handle that. It's at home too, by the way. So
yeah, I think this is a classic Big Ten game. I think that Illinois will score enough to keep this. I mean, I think Illinois will guard them well enough. I think we'll have probably like that 5 to 7 point lead probably the whole game. I do think it's going to be one of those games where a little bit of advantageous home whistle, which we will never give credit for because we're just fans, me included, comes into our benefit. I think we probably get they're big in trouble, and then they have to go to a 6'11" freshman, pretty talented kid. I think Goodwin's his name. So it'll be a. I'm interested with Boswell about Baldwin. I think Baldwin will probably guard KJ. Boswell will guard Baldwin on the other end. So
I know this is a new team, but Ty Rogers is still there with the boys. Trust me, I guarantee you, Brad is showing the team. I guarantee you, Brad is showing the team last year's game.
Or 2 years ago, the 3 games.
Yeah, what happened, and saying how important this one is, but how they allowed the whistle plus just crappy end of game situations, which is that is one thing that worries me about this team right now, is they're it's still sketchy closing games out, these close games. It's not just because of the inbounding plays. To me, they're getting a little bit better on time and score, and you don't need to take a pick and pop 3 with 14 on the shot clock.
I think the reason for that is this team is immensely talented and guys are confident, and you don't want to display that.
But to me, I think that's where analytics can come in. To me, and that's okay. I'm not the coach, right? This isn't me bad-mouthing the staff, but to me, I feel like that's one area that they can clean up a little bit. Obviously, the inbounding plays are pissing off Brad. He's mentioned that.
Yeah,
And you go ahead, Kev. Go ahead, talk about that real quick about the inbounds.
Yeah. Don't quote me on this because I read it somewhere and I'm not sure of the source, but I think in the Euro League that KJ played in, on that out of bounds, you can't cut into the backcourt. And so he got near the line, the midcourt line, and then cut back towards our basket when Trey thought he was going to continue in the backcourt. And so that's where that level that's where that was just a miscommunication on that one. It wasn't kind of like the lazy ass pass that we had against Tennessee. So it just sucks that it comes at a critical time. I think they'll probably coach that and figure that out. So
yeah, but just to finish up what I was saying is that, and I get if there's open shots, it's fine, take it if you're gonna make it, right? But we can't guarantee that. And sadly, Tomislav took 2 3-pointers in the last couple minutes when Illinois could have worked another 15, 20 seconds off the clock. And I feel like when you're up 6 with under 2 minutes left, to me, the clock is your friend, right? Mm-hmm. You want to milk it to possessions. It's not about, let's take a shot with 3 seconds left every time. But it's about, let's be smart here, because you score one time here, you milk that clock down a little bit, dude, and then you're up 8 with 1:30 left, and that makes it even harder on them to win. So to me, I guarantee you the staff is talking to them a little bit about late game execution, maybe start the play with 10 seconds left and then go from there, instead of let's like start it with 20 left, and then you could have spent another 30 seconds in 2 possessions. Anyway, that's all I got to say. And Sleeve Nash, I don't know if Will Riley is I agree he's playing himself at the moment, probably out of a lottery pick. He's definitely got some things he needs to work on. His game is there. His shot's not falling right now. But I don't believe if he doesn't come back next year, it's because he's going to be playing behind Trey White. I feel like because Illinois is going to have Ben Hummerkaus is going to be out. He
can come back though.
Yeah, he can. You're right. That could happen. That might be a reason. That I'm going to keep it real. KJ's going pro, so I know Merez is a guy, and then I've kept this as real. I try to keep it as real as I can because there's no reason to me to make this up. Merez Johnson's minutes have to stay, up and more because Tim Anderson's no longer with the program. Ty Rogers is going to be transferring, and I just want everybody to know that it's happening. And those are his guys, So there has to be really, really, really good reason and really, really, really good, connection there to keep him. And yes, you could say, they're going to pay him. Well, there's a bunch of schools that'll pay Merez Johnson. So he needs to play. And that is one I want to emphatically tell people that if Merez Johnson's going to come back next year, that he needs to play. And this isn't me hoping. I'm not hoping, Kev. I'm telling you what I know. So, but I will say the Will Riley one is one that I'm still a little murky on, and I think he knows he's been given every opportunity to that's the difference here. He's been given the opportunities, like you're playing at the end of the game. You're going to play more minutes in the first half. He's just not producing right now, and for people who are like, well, Brad still needs to play him because he's getting paid, the most behind KJ, blah, blah, blah. Brad is not worrying about that. He's trying to win. You got to win. And if Will Riley's not getting it done, then Will Riley's not going to play as much. And Kev, I've had people argue with me about, well, then what was the excuse for Ben Hummerkaus? I'm in that boat with them, but as of late, he's played a little bit better. I've never thought that he shouldn't play at all, but I think Will Riley and Ben Hummerkaus can't be like, well, Ben gets to struggle for 4 or 5 games and still play, but Will Riley struggles for 4 or 5 games and he doesn't get to play. You see?
Well, we see this. We see the struggles, and we don't see the film room stuff. And I know people think it's coaches speak, but they're like, Rickhouse is always in the right position. Rickhouse is boxing out guys that lead to our other guys getting rebounds. There's certain things like that probably Will Riley in his first year of college experience isn't doing. One thing that Will Riley did I was really excited about is he took Washington. We went for a 2-for-1 on him late in the first half, and he got to the free throw line. That's what he thinks he should do. So I really like Will. I like his game. He's a tough shot maker. He needs to get his feet set. He needs to have a couple go in, and then all of a sudden it's going to be fine. Morez, 9 minutes against Washington probably wasn't ideal, but he has been playing over 15 minutes for the past few games. And I don't know what more is there. Like, I don't know, like, is he expecting 30 minutes a game? Because
no. I think around 20 is fair. Around. I don't think like if it's 19, you're going to throw a fit. But I think 9,
no, it's too few, and I think Brad would agree with it. And sometimes
Brad, and I think every time someone mentions it in the post-game presser, Brad says, "You're right. I need to play him more."
But there's also things are a lot of times matchup dependent. And here's the thing: this is a top 15 ranked basketball team. It is a top 10 talent team in the country. This is a team that can go a long way. And sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, freshmen don't get a lot of run on that team unless you've got pro experience like KJ and Tommy.
Yeah.
So
Brian and Amy, I literally just mentioned, and I'm in agreement with you. I think Kev agrees too. Ty Rodgers is going to be gone after this season. So
I don't know where, but I wish the best for him. I love him. Watch him as a teammate on the sidelines. Dude's awesome. So
he's being a better teammate right now than Kerry Booth is. So
fair enough. Oh well, tough luck, Kerry.
Yeah, exactly. So and Jay Bagan, I hope it's at Illinois, but I think me and Kev agree. Riley needs another year of college. I think the family, from what I was told when he committed, they were up for a 2-year plan, right? If everything went well his first season and he played more up to probably closer to KJ, not right where KJ's at. But if you saw glimpses every week, not every game, but every week of what we saw the first few weeks, a couple weeks from Will, what we saw from a 30-piece against Eastern or whatever, we knew that wasn't going to be as the standard. But I think it needs to be every other game. You're scoring in double figures to where
it's gonna come. It might come tomorrow night. I'm telling you, he just needs to see 2 go through and watch what happens.
Yeah. Let's see. He's
a great tough shot maker, and so that's kind of one of the reasons why it's a little frustrating he's not making shots, because he is a great tough shot maker.
So real quick, let's finish up here with Penn State. I think we're in agreement. Illinois. To me, I have Illinois, Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue in my top 4 right now. Illinois did what it needed to do on the road trip. Big game against Penn State tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on Big Ten Network. And then they have a quick turnaround, Kevin, against USC Saturday at 11 a.m. So that's the one where, man, it's like kicking you right in the pants,
That's 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That will be early for them. So
and they play Wednesday. They play Wednesday at Indiana. They're probably just staying over, I would imagine.
Yeah. So I think Illinois 2-0 week, get to 13-3, 5-1 in the Big Ten. For you got a big week at Michigan State, at Indiana. Luke Goody gets to play against his former coaches, DGL. The guy who replaced him in Ben Humrickhouse, who actually took his NIL money from the same donor who paid Luke Goody. So
it'd be nice. We hold serve. I think Michigan State will hold serve. I think Michigan State's got a tough one at Northwestern on Sunday. That looking ahead, that game could be a top 10 matchup.
That's gonna be fun, man.
Breslin will be rocking. It'll be a tough place. So.
If they have a college game day, that's where it should be.
We're playing on Sunday, I think, on CBS. So
it's a Sunday CBS game. What a perfect spotlight game, dude! Like that's great. So yeah, I think that's what's going on with hoops right now. So for their recruiting situation, they're still looking, they're going to Europe, dude. Like. Yeah. They still are recruiting some high school kids they like. Alex Costanza is one that really sticks out. I think Illinois has a really good shot with them. Chris, I'm jealous I didn't get to meet you, but I am happy that you guys.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris and Naperville Tony. Ran into both those guys. It was awesome. So,
and Naperville Tony was a guy who was always giving me shit years ago, but he's turned into more of like a. I like what Ryan has to say, so I kind of enjoy Tony. But anyway.
ran into Yoon too. That was pretty cool. That it was just we were talking at the bar. I didn't realize it was me. So it was a great experience.
Hey, Kev, we're about to give you about 5 or 10 minutes to talk about the Citrus Bowl. We're going to talk the Citrus Bowl, and then we're going to talk this transfer portal / reload of the current team to finish up real quick. But are we in agreement? You think Illinois sweeps this week?
I do. Yep. I think they handle business. I think obviously the USC game is probably a little bit more advantageous for us. I think Penn State's tough. That's a scrappy team. I think Mike Rhodes is doing a good job there, but I think we hold serve.
Yeah, even a 2-point win, that's all you need. And yeah, Sean, I think Illinois has a great chance to be in the college football playoff next year. Okay, so let's delve into this. Kev, you were there. Like, I can tell you this, the ecstasy and just excitement I felt from my TV was just amazing. So I couldn't only imagine what it was like to not only probably hang out with some of your, heroes growing up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'll let you talk about who they were, and not just hang out with them, but to be around the team and be in that environment, which even though it was only about I'd say 60, 70% full, it was, dude, rocket 75%, I think. I think they said 45,000 and it's a 60 seat stadium, so about 75%. Just rocking environment. South Carolina was rowdy. Their side, they were loud. But I know Illinois, after that whole Brett Bielema, Shane Beamer blow up, I know the Illinois side got even louder. So give us a 5-minute of just your favorite moments, and then to see Josh McCray break through the hole to seal the game. Man, just tell me, how was it?
Big shout out to my boy Lauren Massey. We were calling for what we thought Illinois would do on that final play. Not that final play, but that play. And it was my buddy Lauren said he was going to rip off like a 60-yard run. Josh McCray. I don't know if he said 60, but he said Josh McCray's going to rip off a long run, and sure enough, he did it. Yeah, going to bowl games is just awesome. Got to talk to T-Rod Edwards, Seth Coleman, Alex Kapka-Jones, some other guys after the game. Got to had a big cool moment with Aaron Henry. He gave me his hat. Ran into my guy's named Bando.
Too bad you didn't have it on right now, dude.
I mean, that's on the shelf, dude. That's on the shelf. So yeah. That was really cool. Hey, man, Aaron's being rumored for Clemson, by the way. I think it's pretty cool. It shows his chops. I personally don't think that it's going to happen with zero inside knowledge of that. So he wouldn't share that with me.
Are you saying that people are saying he might go take the Clemson defensive coordinator job?
He's been rumored as one of the people interested in that job, or that they're interested in him. Tim Banks is another one. Illinois connections there. So
I will say, before you delve, I think he's got one more year in him at least.
I think so for sure. But it was just such a cool experience. Got to talk to Art Sikowski. It was pretty cool. I told Art about our conversation with Michael Clayton and how important Art was in his recruitment. Art's a pimp, by the way. Like, got to see him at the after party for a minute. Like, that dude's girlfriend is like smoking hot. He had like his shirt unbuttoned down here. Like, he's like Rico freaking Suave. You never realize it. Like, Art Sikowski's a pimp,
and he's a bigger guy than you.
No, he's a big dude. Yeah, he looks like a movie star when he gets dressed up and goes out. So
yeah,
talked to Barry Lundy. I actually asked Barry. I said, on that play to McCray, because actually my read was I thought we were going to do a little read option, possibly with Luke's legs, get him on the edge, and then possibly leak Arkin out or Goda or somebody on a leak out for either a dump or a quick little run, and Barry's like, dude, nope, I wasn't risking a mesh point read from anything there, chance for fumble. He's like, dude, we knew Josh was going to get 2 yards the way the offensive line was blocking, and holy crap, did our guy Melvin Priestley, Brandon Henderson, Tanner Arkin, those three really just made a huge hole. So that was pretty cool. It's just a great experience. I would really encourage everybody to go. Got to talk to Dre Brown. I mean, I am like the biggest Dre Brown fan as a person. I think his resilience and his toughness and his decision to come to Illinois. Being with Notre Dame was really cool. It's I just would encourage everybody to go to a bowl game. Then I hung out with Chris Green again after hanging out with him the night before. Chris is just a phenomenal guy, great football player, had good career in the NFL, and now he's doing stuff with horses, and life's good. And so it's just an experience that you have to do. You can get a little bit of it when you go on the road and go to a road game. You know, if you're a big Illinois football fan, go on the road and you know, go talk to Kevin Farrell. Saw him again, Pat Farrell's dad, just a great dude. You know, you just Mac Resetich, his aunt and uncle ran into them like 4 or 5 times. You just get talk to Khalil Valentine's family. That he loves it at Illinois. You know, I mean, you just get these opportunities to run into folks and just say, Torrey Cox. Oh my goodness, Torrey Cox Sr.
Yeah,
is like the coolest dude in the world, man.
He played pro ball too.
He did. I got a chance to talk to him in Taiwan. And he was like, you know, normally when you have those situations, I was just like, what I like to say to family members is, hey, man, I appreciate you for sharing your son with the University of Illinois. And I know that those guys they literally are putting their lives on the line playing football, right? It's a very violent, dangerous sport. And so you just tell them thank you for this. And ultimately football is entertainment. And I just like to say thank you. And very rarely is it a situation where like Torrey started asking me questions about me, man. He's just a really cool guy. Hey, and Jay, I only ate 2 things of Cheez-Its. They're the best damn Cheez-Its I ever had in my life. I think I ate some during the show. I needed something. Those who watched our last show, they gave us Cheez-Its at the check-in, and they were the freshest, crispiest Cheez-Its you ever had. So that's the only Cheez-Its I had. But so it was just go. If you get an opportunity, go. Once again, big shout out, Mom. Appreciate you. Thank you for making that happen. So.
Oh man, so that's great stuff. And I know you ran into John. I saw John Wright. You saw that?
Oh yeah. John and I ran a couple times, man. Big Reese, that was cool.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, that just put such a big cherry on top of the dessert of the 2024 season. One that, one we won't forget, I feel like is just the start of something even bigger.
Yeah, it's and it was just really cool for this season. I was able to go to Nebraska, Michigan, and the bowl game, and it was just.
Dude, think about that. Think about those 3 games you got to go to.
Yeah.
Like 3 of the biggest games and like most important games of the season for Illinois.
Nebraska's 400 sellout. It was a hell of a year. So I'm trying to plan my trips next year, figure out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. So
let's see, college football playoff home game in Champaign in December. Keep your schedule open before the week before Christmas, Kev.
Washington and Seattle.
Yeah. I feel like there's a vendetta from Ryan Walters. Don't you? Like
man. I think Ryan Walters is ultimately a good dude who just reacted wrong.
He's like, I got to stay in the Big Ten, man. Just got to do it.
Good job. He'll do well there.
And then Illinois goes to Washington next year. So, and that's right. You have some buddies and family or something up there, don't you?
Yeah, my brother-in-law lives in Portland. It's a 2.5-hour drive, so we can go see them and then run up there. It'd be fun. It's one of the coolest stadiums in the country. It sits right on the sound, so people come up and tailgate in pontoons. It's really cool.
Yeah. So Illinois, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, reloaded in a way very, very cool. So, when you bring back. Come on, all Big Ten first team, J.C. Davis.
12 of 14 all Big Ten players returning.
Yes. It's nuts. And so remember
one of those was Hugh Robertson. I think Hugh Robertson was like 13 or something. No, or maybe Briggs. I don't know. Or Seth Coleman.
You guys remember
Seth Coleman, Pat Bryant.
But by the way, when you talked to Seth, why didn't he play? Did he tell you?
He didn't, but he had an arm brace on. And I just thanked him for what he did for Illinois. I think it's probably one of those things they didn't want to risk it. Probably, but he was dressed, dude. He was in pads. You probably saw him on the sideline.
Yeah, he looks like an NFL guy. But
absolutely.
So anyway, last week on the show, people asked me, remember, Ryan, rank most likely to least likely to come back. And I think I said Xavier Scott, J.C. Davis, Gabe Yaakis.
I was in complete agreement with that order.
And Davis did announce first, but then Scott, then Akis. But Akis was the one that I thought was more on the fence, and it was more likely he didn't come back before the bowl game. But I think with that bowl game and talking to knowing that everybody else was coming back and knowing that there's going to be so many eyes on Illinois next year, and the NIL money, they're going to replenish it, and he's going to get some more money too with revenue sharing and all that stuff. That I think he's I heard he was between a fourth and the sixth round pick, Gabe Akis right now, and I think he could improve himself so well to be a second day guy next year easily in the draft. 13 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. I think if you improve on that even a little bit, I feel like you could be a second, third round guy. Yeah. So,
and that's the thing. I think he's going to be on every award list watch before the season. He's going to have a chance to show out. Here's the thing that is really exciting about that, right? So, on the defensive line was the biggest question mark on this team coming into the season, and at times it showed. Right, at times we got gashed up front a little bit, but I think the team held together really well. I think Dennis Briggs had his best year of college football, which was really awesome. I think T-Raw was a freaking stud, and then we had the rotational guys of Alex Bray and Jeremiah Warren, Angela McCullum, Pat Farrell. We had those guys that were Ezekiel Holmes, and so basically you're replacing Dennis Briggs, T-Raw in this order. You're replacing Dennis Briggs, T-Raw Edwards, and Ezekiel Holmes with Dennis Briggs. We're replacing him with Thompson from Wisconsin. I think that's an upgrade. I honestly think and Dennis Briggs played really well. Thompson's bigger, more experienced, better player. T-Rod with Curtis Neal. That could be a wash or a little bit advantage T-Rod, to be honest with you, how well that guy played this year, to expect a guy to play that well. But that's okay. But then Ezekiel Holmes with Durajay replacing him. I think that's an overall upgrade.
Yeah, because you've seen a Durajay already have better seasons than Holmes ever did.
Right. And so then you have that with Gentil Hunt, who looked like a beast at the end of the year. His get off from his position's impressive.
He was playing in the Citrus Bowl,
and he was getting off. 92 was getting off, and then you factor that in with him and Bray and Farrell and Warren and McCullum and Demetrius John and Eddie Turk. Eddie Turk is a massive human being. He's 325 pounds. We go from a thing where the defensive line didn't have much depth and had a lot of inexperience to now we've got depth and experience. I think that Gabe Akis probably has his best season next year by a wide margin. And I think that Aaron Henry is going to dial up some pressure, some designs to get him to the quarterback. I think he probably gets in the double-digit sack numbers. This team is, and I know what Brad P says, I feel like Pat Bryant carried him. Well, Pat didn't play in the bowl game. They still won the bowl game. They returned 18 of 22 starters from that bowl game. And we are looking at this and we're going forward that Illinois is better at every single position other than wide receiver going into next year. The two biggest things that you need on offensive line, you need continuity, right? And you need health. On defensive line, you need depth. We have both of those things going forward. We've got a stable of backs. We've replenished the wide receiver pool. They're talented enough. We don't have a Pat Bryant maybe, but hey, listen, what's his Hudson Clement had better numbers last year, this past season, than Pat Bryant did 2 years ago. I don't think we expected the Pat Bryant season that we got from him. Somebody's going to step up, and I don't think we're going to have a guy like that. I think this team's going to run the freaking ball down team's throats.
And also, Cole Rusk is going to be –
you stretch the field as a tight end. That's something we have not had.
So there's going to be a little different look to next year's offense, but still a lot of the same principles. I think you might see a little more barge package once in a while as well. So
I got so excited when we ran that out there. I was like, the barge.
What's hilarious is watching South Carolina's defenders
What's funny is the barge was Tony Peterson's, not a Barry Lunny thing. So yeah, David French Fagan should be fine by next year. Be back. This team is going to just absolutely wear teams down with the run game on offense and the depth and flexibility that we have at the defensive line, at the edge position. Dude, guys, watch out for this. You saw it a little bit. Daniel Brown's a real one, dude. I'm telling you, Daniel Brown can play, dude.
I needed to tweet it, and I needed to give him his spotlight. So, 4th and goal, right? 4th
Yep.
and goal. And guess what? There was a guy who was open, and he might have thrown a touchdown pass had Daniel Brown not been in Lenora Seller's face.
Dude, and the leverage that he showed. So Daniel Brown's 6 foot, 240, 250 pounds. Dude, you think of a guy like that is going to be like really quick, shifty around the edge. He got leverage underneath that offensive lineman. He's got some pipes on him. I am so bullish on this team next year, Ryan. I think 10 wins is so real.
Yeah.
In the regular season.
Yeah, in the regular season. I think 10 win. I think it's a real team who can be in that top 12 next year.
And if people get their shit straight, if these sports writers get their head out of their ass and are real about it, this is a top 15 team this year that's returning 18 of the 22 starters from a bowl game. That's a team that should be preseason 12 at the worst, probably top 10.
Yeah. And I feel like they'll probably be a little disrespect, but you know what? I feel like they love that. I feel like Brett Bielema, that's his thing.
Oh, you think?
I know. That's it. Hold on a sec. Oh, my goodness. I wrote an article for Mike Terrell Sports. You guys want a good enjoyment of the whole situation about Shane Beamer acting like a 10-year-old who got his PlayStation broken on Christmas Day. It was bad, dude. So embarrassing for him. Just so embarrassing.
And their fans are a bunch of jackwagons too. They're showing their ass on Twitter.
Oh man, I saw so many excuses in the book. Well, we had these guys sitting out, and I'm like, yeah, Illinois didn't have Caden Fagan. Okay, Seth Coleman didn't play. Pat Bryant didn't play. Yeah, it's like
our starting linebacker was out. Like,
yeah. I'm just saying, Dylan Rosiak's out with a season-ending injury.
And by the way, I love what Brett did. I love that Zy Chrysler and Kanari Wilcher got to play. It just shows he's a player's coach. I thought it was really cool.
In his post-game speech, he told everybody who isn't going to be with them anymore, take this season, take this game and what you learned from it, and go be great wherever the hell else you're going.
Yep.
So I love that. So we both are in agreement, top 15 preseason team next year. And guess what? In my final thought, I'm going to give you a little 2026 football tidbit recruiting. So let's get to it, Kev. I'll let you start first. Your final thought for tonight's Keeping It Orange and Blue.
You know, I dedicate a lot of time, a lot of energy into sports, Illinois sports in particular. But I've thought about this a lot the past couple of days, is that, you know, sports is the one entertainment venue, one entertainment access point that we have that is truly a social connection. So, you know, you think about it, you go to a movie and you see an amazing scene in a movie. You don't have to high five the guy or the gal next to you. You see an amazing movie. You don't even have to go home and tell anybody about it. You just sit there and enjoy it. You go to an amazing concert. Wmaybe you talk to your one buddy that went with you, but you're like, man, that was a really good show. And you tell people about it when they ask. But when you're a fan of a team and you go and you witness something really cool or cool plays, you high five everybody around you. You talk to your buddies about it for days on end. You have a podcast that you do with a buddy, and you do it week after week after week. You see friends that you haven't got so much time to spend when you go home, when you go to Orlando, and you get to hang out with them on the poolside the next day for a while. You get to see a guy you've known since he was 19, and now he's coaching your football team. And you get to give him a hug, and he gives you a hat. You know, you get to put a chain on Zane Bando's neck and see the highlight that makes in that kid's life. There's something truly special and social about the connections that sports create for people. And for that, I'm very thankful. Once again, thankful to my mom for making it happen. Thankful for my guy, Joe Brenner, for tuning in. Good to see you, buddy. But it just, I know sometimes, you know, folks like us who watch this show, who spend time on it, maybe we do spend too much time on it. But at the same time, it creates relationships, and that's what life's about, building relationships. So just want to say I loved it. It was amazing. Thank you for everybody I got to see and chat with, Chris and Tony and all the Gio, all the people. It's just great. So.
Yep, YOLO. So you want to make it count, and you want to make an impact, and you want to do things that you love with people that you love. So I'm total agreement there. So appreciate everybody tuning in on YouTube. Spread the word. If anybody doesn't subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, please jump in, hit the subscribe, hit the comment, like, all that good stuff on YouTube. And if you haven't on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're listening or watching, we appreciate you. And yes, Clement, Malik Elsey's about to take a big step, but I think Hank Beatty has really asserted himself to me to be a really dependable dude his senior season. So
13 snaps, 4 catches, 90 yards.
And Colin Dixon, of course, as well. I think Illinois is going to be 5-6 deep. We haven't even talked about Justin Bowick in there yet. So,
my God.
Yep.
Ashton Hollins.
So my final thoughts, Illinois. So class of 2026, I think, and I've mentioned it. We talked about Michael Clayton already. Is going to be a big one. They're shooting big here. This is going to be Brett Bielema's best class. And as you see, things are going to be huge for next season. And I posted, a crystal ball for DeKalb wide receiver Grant. So Devon Grant, he has offers. He's a top 550 kid in the state of Illinois. Not playing for a very good program right now, but he's 6'4", 200 pounds. He has offers from Iowa and Minnesota. And those are two Big Ten rivals that Illinois is competing with, two good programs, that are winning 7-8 games a year. And this is an in-state kid that you got to win. This is a kid that goes to Iowa. This is a kid that's been going to Minnesota, right? And Brett Bielema is going to keep him in here. Tony says hello from Palm Springs. So Devon Grant, I've been told he's committed. It's just about when they want him to announce or when he's going to post that. But I've been told J.C. Anderson is going to be at the Penn State game tomorrow night. He was on campus before they went to the Citrus Bowl. Okay, I was also told that he would be possibly making his commitment or making a decision once all that transfer portal stuff blew over. I'm assuming his top 5 will be announced sometime soon. But there's going to be an actual in-home from Brett Bielema coming later this week as well. So it'll be his first chance to have an in-home with these kids that he's been really wanting. So J.C. Anderson coming to the Penn State game to have a good time. Brett Bielema coming to Mount Zion to visit. I'm thinking Illinois is in pretty good shape with J.C. Anderson, but that's just how I feel about it. So that would be a very, very big get to add to 2026.
Huge. And I really like Grant. I like everything about him. Just like you said, the posting an 8-win season and a 10-win season in a 3-season span is really going to start changing some recruiting aspects and where this team's going. They've never won 8 games in 3 out of 4 years in the school history. We will do that next year. So the recruiting is going to start funneling in. And good Lord knows we're going to need it in 26 because we're going to lose a lot of guys next
year. Yeah. It's like, well, what we do? Well, we had 2 really damn great seasons.
Transfer portal.
Yeah, transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 2 big hoops games. We'll be back Sunday night. Have a good rest of your week. Stay safe. We're getting a lot of snow here in Central Illinois, so Swami out.
ILL.